Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. My name is Nicole Mack. I'm the principal here at Conservatory Lab. Oh, man. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Castellini, the Chief Operating Officer. Again, thank you for joining us as we continue to improve our safety protocols here at the Conservatory Lab during this pandemic that we're all dealing with.
Good evening. My name is Nurse Brown. I'm the nurse here at the upper school.
So this evening, we're going to share a little bit about some of our new options to increase testing at Conservatory Lab. Since the pandemic has started and we've had students return to school back in January of 2021, that's when we started testing students. And it's only with your support that we've been able to continue this at such a level. So now the state is opening some new options, so we're going to dig into that tonight. We also have joining us Lynn Citrullo, the vice chair of our board. Looks like she's in motion. So do you want to share the slides, Javon? Yeah, she's on. This isn't working. The advancer, you're gonna have to click. There we go. Yeah. So first we'll dig into a little bit, thanks, of what's been happening thus far to keep us all safe. As you know, we currently offer PCR testing every week on Mondays. This is done using a pooled testing regimen. So we receive those results in 24 to 48 hours. And we have just 2 students currently in each pool, so we can more quickly identify those students. Obviously, we're having all students wear masks throughout the school day, as you're well aware of. One adjustment that we are making at this time is that we are encouraging families to move away from cloth masks and opt for disposable masks. If you've been reading any of the information from the medical field or public health field recently, they have established that disposable masks are better at keeping students and families safe while at school and preventing transmission. We've also increased cleaning protocols, as you're well aware of. So we use a spray disinfectant every evening in every classroom to sanitize across both buildings. And currently, we're using the test and stay protocol using rapid antigen testing for any close contacts that occur at school. In addition, any student who's symptomatic during the day, who had a fever, or any of the other symptoms that are consistent with COVID-19, Nurse Brown or Nurse Patty would complete a rapid COVID test at that time so that we can identify whether or not they may have COVID and were present at school. So as you've probably heard on the news, now we have the opportunity to increase testing, going from 1 testing opportunity for our entire school community, including both staff and students once a week, and moving to 2 testing opportunities twice a week. So we will continue our Monday PCR testing, which, as you know, is very difficult to get a hold of typically at this time in the larger community. So we're very lucky that we're able to continue that. And now we'll have the opportunity to send home free rapid antigen tests for every student to be completed at home once each week. So we want to make sure that the testing happens at an interval where we're doing our best job to identify anyone who is currently infected with COVID-19. So our plan is that we continue the Monday PCR testing, and that Wednesday evening or Thursday morning, families would complete a rapid test at home with their child.
I would just say that the plan at this point is that the test will be provided by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and we will have those tests go home with your child on Wednesdays. There will be 2 tests in the kit. And so you'll get a test kit on a Wednesday, and that kit would last for the 2 weeks. We test the first Thursday and then the following week.
So some people may be wondering why we're doing both PCR testing and rapid antigen testing. So these 2 tests provide slightly different information, although both let us know if a person is currently infected with COVID-19. Did you want to explain this, Nurse Brown?
Sure. So the PCR test that we do on Mondays, that test is very specific. It's very sensitive as well. So it detects the genetic material of the virus. Those are ultimately better tests, but we just do them once a week. The antigen test, it's pretty good as well, but it only detects the antigen on the virus, so it's detecting the specific protein. Those tests pretty much only work when you have a higher viral load. So it's a good way to, if I were you as a parent, I would do both the PCR and antigen. I would opt into both just as a way to, one, get your kid tested on a Monday, but then on Thursday, just in case they were to pick it up or they were to develop a higher viral load, you would be able to pick it up later on in the week.
Yep, so these offer different levels of sensitivity and are within the medical field a nice complement to one another. And so that's how we're looking at that. And as you know, one of the biggest pushes is to have as much surveillance testing as possible, since some students may be asymptomatic. So this is a better opportunity for us to identify any students that may have it. Also, I think we're all well aware that at times it's difficult to get a hold of rapid tests within the community. And obviously, if you're continuing to do that on a regular basis, quite an expense, depending on where you're finding them at this point in time. So as we mentioned, on-site COVID testing will continue. So moving forward, we'll have weekly safety pool PCR testing on Monday. In the past, we had 5 to 7 students in each pool. Moving forward, or for the last few weeks, really, we've only had 2 or 3 students in each pool so that we can more quickly identify positive individuals. And then we typically receive the results in 24 to 48 hours. We have noticed that it has taken more time for us to receive the PCR results. So we've been more in the 36 to 48 hour range, but it's always within 2 days and typically within 1. But as the numbers went up and the labs were all doing more tests, we did see our processing slow down as well. When there is a positive pool, we know that one of the individuals within that pool is positive. So then Nurse Brown would follow up and complete a rapid antigen test with each of those students to detect which of the students is positive. If the rapid tests come up negative at that point, then Nurse Brown completes a second individual PCR test. So that happens at the beginning of the week, between Monday and Tuesday typically. If a student is sick during the week, we will continue with symptomatic rapid antigen testing. So anyone during the day that happens to not feel well, Nurse Brown can complete symptomatic testing for those students to rule that out. What is different moving forward is we will not be doing the contact tracing testing. So currently, if an individual tests positive, those individuals that are closest, we would do rapid testing each day for a number of days. This new program where we're sending rapid tests home to families will allow all families in a class, rather than just a few students, to do the rapid testing on Thursday. The CDC does provide guidance that for the timeline that close contacts typically show or demonstrate symptoms and would show up on a rapid test is around 5 days. So with our new protocol having both testing on Monday and Thursday, this allows us the opportunity to kind of catch any cases that may come up within our community. So, what will you be getting? This is the test, which some of you may have purchased yourself at home or received from the city of Boston, that would be going home once every other week. So as Mr. Castellini mentioned earlier, each student, so if you have multiple kids at our school, you would get multiple test kits, but each student would receive one test kit every other Wednesday. Each test kit contains 2 tests. And as you can see there's 2 swabs, 2 vials, and then 2 testing cards. When we're ready to send home the test kits, we'll send out some specific instructions and a demonstration, demonstration video so that everyone knows how to complete the test at home. So you'll have 2 test kits. You'll do one on the first Wednesday or Thursday morning, and then save the test for the following week. So how can you participate? Hopefully everybody wants to participate because everybody wants COVID tests right now, and we have them free here at school. So we will send in an opt-in form through Parent Square for you to sign. And this will allow us to send the test kit home with your child. As I mentioned, it will go home every 2 weeks. Each test kit has 2 rapid antigen tests inside. You'll complete the test Wednesday night or Thursday morning. If your child tests positive, how do you report that? So there'll be a 2-pronged process. You will call the front desk and you can report that to Miss Soto or Miss Brown at the upper or lower school. They'll share that information with our school nurse and they'll report back to you. They'll contact you. You'll also report that using the daily health screening. There'll be a new question added to that daily health screening so that you can share whether your child was positive or negative. If your child tests positive for the home test, you need to keep your child home who tested positive, as well as any siblings. The nurse from your school building will follow up with you to review the isolation protocols for your family. All of the results from the COVID tests are kept confidential. We have any questions?
No, there was the major question in the chat was, who do we report a positive test to?
Oh,
And do we
great.
have to upload any test results? And the answer is you don't have to upload anything. As Ms. Mack has already said, it's just a simple phone call.
In the daily health screening.
And the
So you'll
daily-
continue to do the daily health screening, and on that, there will be a new question that specifically asks about completion of the daily home test and whether it was positive or negative.
And we have time to go out this evening. You probably already have received it, the opt-in form on Parent Square. We would encourage everyone to complete that and to participate in this as we continue our efforts to keep our community safe.
Anything you want to add, Nurse Brown?
One more question.
The question is, good evening, everyone. Since the disposable mask helps spread the virus, would the school provide disposable face masks for students?
So we don't currently have the ability. We have 460 students at school, and we don't currently have the ability to provide 460 disposable masks each day for obvious reasons. So students are still allowed to wear cloth masks, but we do recommend that families shift to using a disposable mask. And we've seen many families doing that on their own, as that has been pretty broadly advertised in the news.
Any more questions?
If
Can
you
I
have
ask
any
a
other
question?
questions about the new testing protocols, please feel free to reach out to any one of us. You will be receiving the opt-in form shortly. And we hope to see as many of you participating as we move forward.
Michelle, Nicole, can I ask a
Why
question?
can't, one last question has come in. Why can't students who test positive be provided with remote learning while they're out?
So while we had a fairly robust remote learning program going last year, this year, as you know, most students are at school. Classrooms and student materials were structured quite differently to provide for simultaneous remote learning. As you can remember, most of the materials were electronic. The teacher had their lessons structured very differently. Now with students in school, the majority of students in school, where maybe one student in a class may have it, or a couple students in a class may have it at any given time. Currently, I think this week we had maybe 5 students the entire week, 6 students the entire week test positive. It really isn't possible to structure the class the same way with the students in the classroom. What students would see while at home is really kind of the camera from the very back, but the classroom setup just really is not conducive. While we've considered that option, we really don't think that would be the best instruction. So when your child, if your child tests positive, you can contact your child's teacher. They will happily provide work for them to complete at home, just like any time that we get sick with an ear infection or a stomach virus or things like that. So if you have further questions about that, please feel free to reach out to your child's teacher. They will bring the work down to the front desk, and then family members can come and pick it up. All right. So thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.